I hope you're all surviving, hope you're all well. I'll leave it at that. Now, before this nastiness happened, you know, and apologies about the lisp at the moment, but you know, that's another video. Go and watch that. Before this happened, I promised to do a review of two sets of tyres that are very popular and are often compared to each other. And that's the RoadTec 01 and the Michelin Pilot Roads. Or I think they're just called roads now, don't they? But anyway, let me explain what they are. They're both declared as touring tyres or sport touring tyres, and they both give exceptional grip in the wet and longevity. Basically, that's what everybody kind of looks for buying these sort of tyres. Now, let's talk about the Michelins first. The Michelins. Now, before I talk about this, it's not a case of, oh, I've ridden both for a couple of miles. It's not. I've ridden thousands of miles on these tyres. Two sets of tyres. Thousands upon thousands. And I'll explain that as I go. Now, the Michelins are awesome. Don't get me wrong, but are they the best? Now, they have superb grip in all conditions. Don't get me wrong there. All conditions. They really are good. And they heat up extremely quickly. And so you can jump on your bike, do, you know, a few hundred meters down the road, and they're almost up to a good temperature that you can start being a little bit leery. So that is a massive plus. In the wet, same, really good grip. I mean, good, very, very good. Can't fault them at all as a wet tyre. You know, you've seen the conditions I ride in anyway. So, you know, excellent. Hot summer's day like this. Now, it isn't that hot today, but it is hot. You know, you can tell blue skies, sun now, etc. So it is blooming hot. You crossing there? Okay. This is where they fall down a little bit, believe it or not. When they get extremely hot, I'm not talking about as I'm riding in these sort of conditions, but say I start going around the twisties, warming the tyres up even more, they start to deform or feel like they're deforming. And so you get that little twitch in the back of your mind that something might let go any second. They don't get me wrong, they do not, but you always have that nagging feeling because they kind of do this little deforming thing. You're going to pull out, aren't you? And so that is the only thing I don't like about them. Well, it's not the only thing, sorry. That's one of the things I don't like about them. Now, there is another thing, like longevity. All these tyres are like spouting longevity. You can do blah, blah, blah amount of miles in them and all this lot before you need to change it, which is nice. We all want tyres to last forever. You're going to just come straight across and through a red light. Toss it. Which is, they do have good longevity if your tyres last that long. Now, what do I mean by that? There is a fatal flaw with these tyres, and it's not just this set. I'm not just saying, oh, it's happened with this set. I've gone through 3 sets of tyres and had the same problem with all 3 sets. Okay. Now, one thing they suffer from. This is what I have to concentrate on what I'm saying. Is because the tyres are so soft, they pick up a lot of debris very, very quickly, very, very easily. So if you're riding around roads that are dirty, or say they have, like, people have been doing works or renovations, there's screws or anything, even tiny little shards of metal like that, these tyres like hoover it up. I mean, it just picks them all up. And the set I'm wearing now on this is the latest Michelin's, 5 I believe. I got a puncture within the first 100 miles. I'm not kidding. The set I had previous to this, by the time I got rid of them, because I had to, because of safety reasons really, the rear tyre had 4 punctures and had done about 12,000 miles. It was good for probably another 10,000 miles if it didn't have so many punctures. Now that's worrying, shall we say. The grip, the fun is all there with these tyres. They're awesome, but if they've got, you know, really bad grip, I mean really bad puncture resistance, it's like, well, what the hell's the point in that? Now, let's talk about the RoadTec 01s. RoadTec 01s say they offer everything, the same as the Michelins. And they don't quite, shall we say. They do offer, hang on, so let me just get past this truck. Right, that's a better view for it, rather than sitting at the back end of a truck. Right, the RoadTec 01s. Right, the RoadTec 01s, they offer the same, or say they offer the same amount of facilities or features, shall we say, facilities. It's not a toilet, is it? But yeah, not quite. The grip is nowhere near as good. It is good, don't get me wrong. It's got good grip, but you have to be trusting of that tyre. The feedback from it is not very good. It does feel like you're wearing concrete boots, shall we say. In the wet, exactly the same as in the dry, so they're pretty awesome. So in the wet, exactly the same as dry. Longevity, they last forever. I am not kidding you. I've had 2 sets of them. What's the mileage on this bike? The mileage on this bike is 23,000. Right. I've done probably 20,000 on one set of RoadTec, front and back, one set. And they probably had a good couple of thousand left on them, but because I'd been doing a lot of motorway riding on them, I'd flat spotted them really badly, and so I couldn't go around corners on them very easy. You know, if I just going around the corner, it felt very dodgy. So I kind of knackered them. And I would say they are incredibly puncture resistant. I've picked nails and screws and glass, all sorts of crap out of them, all over the place. But a weird thing about them is they kind of lose tyre pressure. I know all tyres lose tyre pressure, but they seem to do it quite freely, which is a bit weird. So I had to make sure, like, every couple of weeks I'd double check the tyre pressures, sort of thing. I know some of you out there can say, well, you should be doing that every ride. I ride every day, you know. It's not going to happen. And I do a lot of miles. Right, let's go down here so I can finish. So the Rotex, lovely tyres, but they do not inspire the confidence of the Michelins. Now the Michelins, if you're new to riding, I highly recommend them and hope you don't get punctures, you know. But I've ridden them on various different bikes and always had puncture issues with them. It could be the roads I ride on or anything like that that causes it for me. Because I've not had I've had a few people agree with me with this, quite a few actually, saying about, you know, getting punctures on them and they just think it's normal. But they're the only tyre in all the tyres I've ever ridden on that have been highly, you know, susceptible to punctures. So the Michelins, if you're a new rider, yes, I would go for them like mad, because they inspire such confidence in your riding, it will make you a better rider. Now the Rotex on the other hand, if you're like really stuck up for money, you don't push your bike to the limits, and you're not, you know, trying to get your knee down and stuff like that, yep, definitely get them. They last forever. I mean, they might be a bit costly, but blimey do they last. You know, 23,000 miles on one set of tyres, and that's awesome. The Michelins, when I've used them, you know, about 12 if I'm lucky. I mean, I don't burn my bike anymore. I've got older, mellowed out a bit. So, but a sports tyre I would still burn through in under 4,000 miles sort of thing if I was using sports tyres. Oh, come on, you've got a freaking load of the road. Come on, don't be stupid. I like that when they try to intimidate you and they put themselves in the middle of the road. So yeah, to round it all up, Michelin, great tyres, but will I buy them again? The answer is no. And it's not because I don't like them. I've already said I absolutely love them. The grip is amazing. The way it inspires confidence on you, amazing. Stopping power, amazing. But they're just too prone to punches, you know. Every set I've had, and I've had one of each of the sets they've ever brought out, I've had multiple punches in, you know. And I do look after the bike. Some people who see it think it's dirty, and I kind of keep it that way on purpose because I don't want it to look like it's worth nicking. Because I have to do it to work all around central London and park in dodgy places sometimes. But mechanically, it's as sound as anything. I'm quite fastidious about that. I don't want to be on that side purely because of, you know, mechanical issues. But like I said, the only tyre I'd buy out of those two nowadays is the Rotex, simply because of the longevity of them and puncture resistance.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear, driving towards the sun with the